Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Scout Tactical channel. Today, by popular request, we're going to do EDC pocket dump video. I guess these are pretty popular. I've had a lot of people messaging me about them, and the Sarge, who you've seen in other videos, has really been on me to do a pocket dump video. So the funniest thing is, my pocket dump video is going to be kind of silly because I work as a police officer. So it's a duty belt, it's an AR, it's extra mags, or whatever. It's not necessarily a typical EDC. I work as a detective 5 days a week, and I always have my uniform on and my duty belt, so I'm kind of geared up to begin with. I happen to work an off-duty job on Saturdays and Sundays in uniform, so I always kind of have my uniform on. Unfortunately, I normally am not 7 days a week, but I have been for several months. So what if I didn't have my uniform on? Say after work, I'm going to my kids' sporting games, which is common, something like that. I do carry, so I don't just go unprotected all the time. Sometimes it's just a pocket knife if I'm just running to the store, which is a stupid thing to do. Even I know as a cop that you should probably have your gun or your gear just in case. But remember that I do have a vehicle bag and what have you. So okay, we start off, well, that's really my EDC because that's the gun I carry on duty. Literally, that's the M&P 40 that I carry as a police officer. What if I wasn't carrying my duty rig? Well, let's see. I start here. What is that? You've seen it once before. This is the little Smith and Wesson Bodyguard 380. An excellent gun. Has the integrated laser, little controls. It's kind of like a baby gun, kind of like a baby M&P, although the M&P doesn't have the laser obviously built into it. But that's what I carry, a 380. I know everybody's in shock because you're thinking, oh my god, a cop just carries a 380? Well, yeah, because I don't want it to be real big. I live in Texas, as I've mentioned, so a lot of times clothing is going to be jeans and a t-shirt, something like that, so we're not going to have a lot of jacket weather. Only 2 or 3 months out of the year are we wearing coats. So I got a little gun because I don't want to show it to everybody. I want it to be concealed. There is no open carry in Texas, so I've got to conceal it. I carry it in this little DeSantis holster, which I think is awesome. It's got a flypaper material on there. I think it's called the Nemesis, and it works right pocket or left pocket. It holds the gun perfectly, and it has a cover flap that goes on this Velcro that goes over that'll make it even less printing if you're having that problem. I don't have that problem normally. Okay, so I do recommend a gun if you're a gun guy. Now you don't have to. You could go with less lethal like pepper spray or some type of taser / stun gun situation, something like that. Next up, I've always got a knife. Right, this is the 511. I showed you this in the $100 EDC knives, but this is that Tonto Scout. Excuse me. It's a real nice blade. It really fits in my idea of a concealed carry because I normally go between 3 and 4 inch blades. I don't go super huge like 4.5s, 5s, although I love those knives. And in a hunting situation I have a larger fixed blade on me, but in an EDC I've got a 3 to 4 inch folding knife, which normally fits real well with me. My criteria is 3 to 4 inches, a good steel, but I'm not a steel nut. It's got to have a good clip. You see how deep this one goes, pretty deep in the pocket. And it normally has to be generally thin. I don't like real super big gripped bulky knives like with the big stag handles and what have you. They're pretty, don't get me wrong, but that's not necessarily what I carry every day. I'd like something slimmer that just goes in the pocket, comes right out. Because the deal is you're going to be using this knife. And what are you really doing? Are you drawing your gun all the time? No, but you're opening boxes, or you're cutting a cord, or pulling a piece of string, or whatever, or this is your self-defense. So a knife actually gets a little bit of use every day in my world. Also a flashlight, as you can guess. You've seen them before in some of the pistol videos. That's the Streamlight ProTac, which is also, again, mine's called the PT, but it's the ProTac 1AA. It runs off of 1 AA battery. You see how small it is? Smaller than this knife, so tiny little flashlight, less than an inch around, and smaller than a normal pocket knife, or maybe a little bit bigger pocket knife. It's a good light. The reason I carry a little bitty 1AA is because it's easy to do. Puts out plenty of light, but I can still hold on to it and activate it with a push button which stays on once I push it. I like that because if you're trying to do something like hold this and hold your weapon, it's hard to keep pushing the button to keep it on. But it does have momentary on if you just want to push for a second to look at something, which is a sound tactic in the defense world. Push and look and let go. That way you're not showing where you are. So I like that. You can also hold it on, and then again you can it can have multiple modes. You see then now it's down to low, and then it has a strobe as well. You just kind of double tap on the button. So a little PT1AA. If I have more room, I can take the 2AA. If I have more room, I might take this flashlight. This is the Streamlight Stry-On rechargeable. But you see how much bigger it is than the PT1A, than the ProTac 1AA. If I didn't explain this, I showed you in a couple videos. Mine says PT1AA. I have a few of these because that was 2 years ago when they first came out. Now they say ProTac 1AA. It's the same thing. But anyway, the Stry-On LED, and I have the Stry-On HL, which is the high output, the 500. This is the 125 lumen. Maybe something like that if I have a jacket on, because this can ride in a jacket pocket and not bother me. But this, with a clip that doesn't ride high, but it can fit in a pants pocket, and that's how I carry it. I normally carry the knife in my back pocket, the gun in one front pocket, and the light in the other front pocket. One last thing I normally have on me all the time, and that's a Swiss Army knife. Some guys like multi-tools, that's cool. I don't normally have a need for the pliers, but again, I do have my vehicle EDC bag, which has a multi-tool in it, so if I have to use tools, I have some in the car. But normally on me, in my daily life, I don't need any big pliers, so the Swiss Army does just fine, because I have knife blades, I have bottle opener, can opener, screwdrivers. And of course, you're really just using the screwdriver or the blades in my case. Normally not using the can opener or anything like that. This is the Camper from Victorinox. I've always liked that knife. I've actually had that knife probably 20 years. It's they still make it today. They make them in different versions. But I like the Swiss Army knife because it's normally slimmer, lighter, and smaller than a multi-tool. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I have probably 5 Leathermans. I have 2 or 3 Gerbers. I enjoy multi-tools. I have them in all of my kits. But I don't normally have one in my pocket per se, other than a little juice, a gray juice that I do have from Leatherman, and I'll carry that in the pocket sometimes. I don't have a lanyard on this one because I normally don't need one, a reflective lanyard or a lanyard to pull it out of my pocket, because it's not a defensive knife, right? If that was my only one, it doesn't lock back, so I'm not going to try it as a defensive knife. But if that was my only knife, maybe I've got a lanyard on it. But it comes in and out of my pocket just fine. And for quick defense, I would have this. Or of course, I would have this. So those come out quick, but I don't need a lanyard because I'm not really pulling this quick. This is more of a, oh, let me get whatever. So, I guess that's it. Kind of remember that this is generalization. This is actually what I carry, but this is also a categorical representation of what you could carry. So if you like X knife, like I have 5 or 6 folders that I like to carry. I have 2 or 3 of these little guys. You like the Kel-Tec, you like the LCP, something like that. You like the MMP Compact, the XDS, the Glock Compacts, whatever. You can go up to a bigger gun. The point is, I always have a small gun on me that's easy to conceal, of any brand or size that I like. I've got a knife on me, normally 3 to 4 inches, with a clip that I can put in my pocket. I've also got a Swiss Army knife of any kind that you like so that you can have a couple of tools on you for preparation. And I've got a small light on me. And a small light is so that you can see what you're doing, work on changing the tire, use it in a defensive situation, look for something you just dropped, you name it. I mean, the uses are limitless. And don't just think, well, I'm normally out during the day, so I don't really need a flashlight. I will tell you, as a police officer, it's real funny when you go in that dark warehouse or that dark building and the door shuts and it's dark and it's midday. So don't think that just because it is sunny outside that it's not dark where you could end up. You might have to get in a situation where you're in some type of room or building where it's dark even though it's light outside. So don't think that you don't need a light just because you're working during the day or you're normally out primarily during the day and then you go home for the night or what have you. Have the light just because it's an emergency preparation. You don't know what could happen, so you have to have it to be prepared. If you knew what would happen, you would tailor your gear specifically for that situation. Okay, guys. As always, I really appreciate you watching. Keep going to YouTube and subscribe if you like the channel. Check us out on the web at scouttactical.com or Facebook and now Twitter, if you remember. We're in week 1 of the Twitter account. It seems to be working. Everybody seems to like it. It's at Scout Tactic, one word. And the Facebook is Scout Tactic as well. As always, guys, thanks for watching.